think we could all agree here that Pokemon has had its fair share of controversies. But this one is where Pokemon deserves to lose its popularity. That's right, I'm referring to Nintendo and the Pokemon Company going after Pocket Pair over Palworld. In case you guys don't know, Palworld is a monster TV title that's also a survival crafting title. But it's not the first title with those two genres. Oh no, that belongs to Starbound. So if there was any company that would sue Pocket Pair over Palworld, it would be Chucklefish. Now all jokes aside, biased Pokemon fans insist that Pokemon has to stay being the most popular monster TV title out there in the world, really giving a blind eye to how many glitches and problems and flaws Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has. Seriously, all these glitches make Sonic 06 look legit. Sure, Sonic 06 was rushed just like Scarlet and Violet, but even then, that was better than this. Given that Yokai Watch had almost replaced Pokemon, Pokemon fans insist that must never happen again, especially Palworld replacing Pokemon. What made fans angry at Palworld is the Pal's designs themselves. Not only do the Pals seem to be inspired off of existing Pokemon designs, but also fake Pokemon as well, even down to having fake Pokemon names, much like Scarlet and Violet. And now, with this lawsuit on the way, it comes to the question as to why Nintendo took so long and waited so long to sue Pocket Pair. They could have sued Power for what they were constantly talked about, but no, they wanted to wait until they have a lot of money. How smart of you, Nintendo. But surprisingly, this lawsuit was filed not because of copyright infringement, not trademark infringement. No, it's patent infringement, which is very hypocritical on Nintendo's part, I might add. And that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to debunk all the Pokemon Company's patents they apparently filed just so they could win against Pocket Pair. But before that, let's talk about how a patent works. You see, infringement comes in three ways: copyright infringement, trademark infringement, and patent infringement. When you do your work, like on animation, or a video game, or music, you can copyright it. Even designs are copyrightable. Unauthorized copies of that work is indeed copyright infringement. But when you make a character or a place, give it a design, give it a name, or a logo, and if it's part of you, you can trademark it. You can even trademark an object you've created, as long as it has original elements. Unauthorized usage of any of those is trademark infringement. But what is a patent? A patent is protection of the invention from being used or sold without the inventor's permission. So even if you change it all over that is completely distinct from the inventor's perspective of how he made his invention, it is still patent infringement. Now, unlike copyrights and trademarks, Nintendo has always had a hard time when it comes to patents. Please note, I'm not a lawyer, but I would know. Yep, you guessed it, Nintendo was sued over patent infringement. For one, the Wii. The patent infringement over the Wii console was filed by iLife. The patent infringement that iLife had claimed against Nintendo was that the Wii remote had stolen their most essential technology. Nintendo was even sued by Satoru Tomita, a former employee of Sony. And oh boy, Nintendo is rivals with Sony, more than with Sega. This lawsuit was over the 3DS. The patent infringement was glasses-free 3D screen technology. The lawsuit was a success. It prompted Nintendo to create the 2DS. Now, what makes an invention patentable? Well, let's look at Japan's patent law. If the claimed invention lacks industrial applicability, the invention is not patentable. Inventions of methods for performing surgery on humans, providing therapy to humans, or diagnosing humans lack industrial applicability. Is there a duty to the patent office to disclose pre-adjuncted prior disclosure or documents? No, there is not. Now keep this information about Japan's patent laws in your mind. You'll see why. Feel free to go back to it if you wish. But with that said, let's debunk the patents that the Pokemon Company apparently owns. Number 1. These patents. Pocket Pair, if you're watching this, I'll let you see what I mean by this. Alright, let's see. Please note, if I'm going too fast, feel free to slow it down or pause the video. Now on the surface, it don't seem like a whole lot. Looked used before Pokemon existed. It's hard to say if these patents would be used in court, but I don't know. All I'm saying is that stuff like this was used outside of Pokemon and Nintendo didn't care about it. And that is especially when you look at a patent that is involving something like a vending machine? What? Words just cannot describe how much I hate this patent. I just started how many things Pokemon use that they don't own. Now before you say that patent refers to the Pokemon vending machines, Pokemon doesn't own the rights to the general vending machine concept. Alright, so as we continue, it doesn't really look like Pocket Pair used any of these patents. Not at all. Some of these patents look like they were used before they were filed. I would even say even before Pokemon was a thing. making it look like the Pokemon Company has been falsifying patents. And I'm pretty sure that's illegal in any country, especially when you look at the Code of Honor. This lawsuit the Pokemon Company is filing, I'm pretty sure Nintendo is trying to make a monopoly, and I'm certain that that is illegal. If Nintendo really wanted these patents, they should check if any other company does it so that their patents they file is legit. So that it's not a patent that any other company had done before this patent was filed. And I'm pretty sure Nintendo nor the Pokemon Company owns the rights of the patent for game systems, nor game methods. Gaming systems were done by, Xbox, Sony, Sega. I'm sorry if this takes very long, I really am. I'm just wanting it to be slow so you can see it. Now we're on to the last row of these patents, and let me tell you, these patents don't look like they were owned by Nintendo. I'm pretty sure they were used long before these patents were filed, which I'm pretty sure that's illegal, even if Nintendo doesn't know, because again, that is falsifying patents. And I'm pretty sure there are non-Nintendo games where you could purchase an item, like, Minecraft, Terraria, whether if there are limits or not. But what do I know? I'm not a lawyer. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that the Pokemon Company does not have its own inventions to call its own. All of these were used before these patents were even filed. In case you didn't see the first row, here it is again. Now as you can see, some of these patents were publicized, maybe even filed, around February to September 2024. However, Palworld was released in January 19, 2024, so there's no way Pocket Parrot could even know about these patents. Even so, some of these patents weren't even violent because Palworld came out before they were filed. And when you look at this one, filed in January 22nd, 2024, 3 days after Palworld released. It's like the old saying goes, you can't have your cake and eat it too. In this case, you can't file a patent when it was used before it was filed. Number 2. The monster TV genre. Does Nintendo own the rights to this concept because of Pokemon? No! Pokemon wasn't even the first monster TV title. That would be Megami Tensei. I mean heck, Dragon Quest V even inspired Pokemon. So if Nintendo and the Pokemon Company will go after Pocket Parrot or Palworld, they should also try to go after Sega, because they own Megami Tensei. And we all know for a fact that Nintendo will lose a lawsuit filed against Sega if they try to sue them over Megami Tensei. They would even have to be forced to pay Sega a lot of money. Number 3. Throw an iron to catch a creature. This, can't put enough quotations about it, patent was filed by Nintendo in 2021. A patent involving a game character throwing an iron to catch a monster and summon it out of the field. But here's the thing. Nexomon did this before this patent was filed. And to throw an iron to summon the creature? Yeah, Nintendo doesn't own that concept either. I know this patent is false, and it's not just Nexomon. There's Starbound, Digimon World 2, Xenomon, and Temtem. Yes, I'm counting Temtem, because Temtem was in early access in 2020, and believe me, there's a lot more than that, and trust me, it gets worse for Nintendo. So you can't just go and take Nintendo's side all this toxic favoritism. Binding of Isaac Afterbirth introduces a friendly ball. Yep, you have to throw it to capture a creature, and you have to throw it again to summon the creature, which will fight your battles for you. Even Alana has a monster TV mechanic, where you have to throw an iron to capture a creature. Even G Darius allows you to capture your enemies, long before Pokemon made this apparent patent. I mean heck, even Devil Summoner has a monster TV mechanic. Throwing an iron to catch a creature is even true for World of Final Fantasy. And do you know the jewel of the crown of Nintendo's lies with this patent? Genshin Impact. The second game that casts Kevin Afghani, the current voice actor of Mario.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Number 4. Creature breeding. In short, breeding creatures cannot be patented, no matter what country you're in. It's public domain. You just can't claim the concept as your own. It's not yours, it's everyone's, all over the world. If Pokemon could breed their creatures, so can Palworld with theirs. Now listen, all I'm trying to say is that whatever patent infringement Nintendo and the Pokemon Company are claiming, it's invalid in regards to Japanese law. Especially when they're giving up a lot of money, and soon they will lose a lot more. These two are just trying to strong arm an indie company, and that is just shameful. According to Japanese law, making a false patent claim is punishable by imprisonment or a fine of 3 million yen, which is $20,837. So yes folks, Nintendo really is playing with fire. They're gonna fly too close to the sun and get burned. Number 5. writing creatures. You may think Nintendo did this mechanic first by means of Mario, Kirby, Pokemon, even Star Fox, Zelda even, but that's not true, folks. Long before all of that, a video game created not by Nintendo where you can ride animals. It's called Lil Nemo, the Dream Master. And guess what? It was made by Capcom. And look at that, it even came out before Super Mario World. Nice try, Nintendo. Caught red-handed. There's so many things that Capcom did before Nintendo. Kirby copies a lot from Mega Man, the copy power mechanic, and the ride armor. Heck, Kirby even stole a name from Mega Man called the Storm Tornado. Ironic because they both copy powers. Number 6. The crafting mechanic. Psycho dude, can Nintendo own the patent rights for this mechanic? Please?
Nope.
Saying Nintendo owns the patents of that mechanic is like saying that they should go after Minecraft as well. And that lawsuit will flop. Minecraft came out in 2009, long before Nintendo would even touch the crafting mechanic. Just because they did it in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and again in Legends Arceus doesn't mean they own it. In fact, Mojang can sue Nintendo for that. With this lawsuit in mind, other video game studios will come after Nintendo as well, including Capcom and Sega. Nintendo is trying to make a monopoly on the Monster TV title by suing Palworld, a monopoly gathering around Nintendo. And as we heard from Google, that is illegal, not only in America, but in Japan too. We know for a fact that Pocket Pair is partnered up with Sony for an anime, and TCG with Crunchyroll. Is all this a threat to Pokemon's reputation? Will a Palworld anime give Pokemon a new controversy, one that is beyond their control, unlike Jinx and Porygon? Will parents be angry at Nintendo and the Pokemon Company for not doing anything about Palworld? Will parents really insist that they need to associate Pokemon with Palworld because of all this expansion on Palworld?
Nope.
In conclusion, Nintendo may act like they filed a lot of patents, but they were used before they were filed. Palworld came out around the time before Pokemon was making these patents, which is very illegal, even in Japan. Nintendo may look creative, but they're actually one of the most unoriginal companies in the world. It's absolutely embarrassing for both Nintendo, the Pokemon Company, and Game Freak that we, the fans, can be more creative than all of them. What doesn't help in that regard is Game Freak even had to resort to being inspired off of the fans. Their own fans. So I'm not gonna be surprised if Legend ZA was a huge flop and a cash grab, and you shouldn't either, and that we were all hyped up for nothing. But as we fans are concerned, what can we do about this lawsuit? Simple, we need to find proof against Nintendo's claims, and we need to tell Pocket Pair about it. It's easy because they have a Discord server. The link is in the description. If we all do this together, we can all save the video game industry. We can stop Nintendo from abusing its own legal power. After all, abuse of legal power is indeed illegal. No matter how legal it seems, sounds, feels, tastes, or smells. Like how a promise is a promise, abuse of legal power is abuse of legal power. Nintendo, the Pokemon Company, and their lawyers know this, or at least should know this, and yet they just don't care. All they want from the consumers is their money. They're even willing to gamble on it if they can. As a matter of fact, they gamble in court. You heard me right. Nintendo files lawsuits in order to gamble. What's worse, they even make gambling-related products long before they were into making video games. This billion-dollar video game company started out as a gambling company. Even worse still, gambling is literally a part of Nintendo's name. Nintendo, which can mean leave luck to heaven. Nintendo's name even has another meaning related to gambling, the Temple of Free Hanafuda. Hanafuda, which translates to little flower cards, are a type of Japanese trading cards. Now in Japan, these cards were banned due to being connected and associated with gambling and organized crimes. If this is your first video, please note I love these games. Nintendo and the Pokemon Company are just two companies we're better off without existing. All of us. I don't understand why people could say companies like Sega, or Sonic Team, or Capcom, or Bandai Namco, or Ubisoft, or Mojang, or Relogic, or Insomniac, or Outfit 7, or Chucklefish. Yes, Chucklefish even, or Rovio are worse than these two, to be honest. Those companies are far more friendlier to fan-made content and to their own fans. Pokemon Nintendo have no respect for its own fans. So what's the point of supporting, consuming, or respecting a company that won't respect you and words would openly and actively use its legal power against you? The answer is, there is no point at all. They're using their legal power not to protect their intellectual property, but to make a monopoly. That's all that matters to Nintendo. That's why they always use their legal power. We can take their legal power away from Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. Pocket Pair, if you're watching this, I'm rooting for you. And if my video helps you in this lawsuit, Pocket Pair, that would be a badge of honor. Nintendo is clearly in the wrong. I would say hypocritical back when they were small and they were sued by Universal City Studios over Donkey Kong over King Kong. Universal City Studios alleged trademark infringement at that time. Nintendo was bullied by Universal, and now Nintendo has become a bully. Back then, Nintendo was David and Universal was Goliath. But here, Nintendo has become Goliath. Ironic because David became king of Israel. King David had many wives. Nintendo had many IPs. King David stole one of his subjects' wife and impregnates her, but it does not go past the prophet Nathan. He tells David that David and the woman's child will die because of this sin. That's exactly what's happening here. We need to choose adult-friendly fun over child-friendly greed and pettiness, because child-friendly greed and pettiness is exactly what Nintendo is, and the Pokemon Company. We need to open our eyes and see the bigger picture about Nintendo. We can't give them any more power. Nintendo is only as big as we make them. Nintendo may act like they're stronger than us, but in reality, it's the other way around. Nintendo doesn't respect consumers, but Nintendo needs consumers. We are allowing stuff like this to happen. We're Nintendo's strength. Without consumers, they're nothing, and they know it. That's why they enforce every fan take to be appropriate. Why they constantly get rid of fan games. Why they're even going as far as to take down any inappropriate fan-made content of their IP. Nintendo is afraid of us. They're aggressive by fear, and it's up to us to make Nintendo's worst fears come true. Just because Nintendo had used it doesn't mean they invented it, and that's what they're trying to say. In this lawsuit, they're trying to claim that they invented all this stuff that was used in Palworld, when they didn't. They're lying through their teeth, and it's up to us to expose Nintendo and the Pokemon Company, and to make them pay for their sins, and for their 7 deadly sins. They can't get away with it. We, as the consumers, can't let them. They have to pay the price for all of that. After all, the video game industry would be fine without Nintendo anyways.